typed out. Include book, chapter, verse. Oh, it won't let me do it. How about book, chapter. The audio might be a little messed up until we get out to the big road. There we go. We are on our way. How are you this morning, Morgan? How was your weekend? Hopefully I didn't forget anything. I got my wallet, jacket back there. Yeah, I think I'm good. I have a tendency to forget things. Oh, don't be like that. Darn inverter making noise when it's not supposed to. I made my first live streams yesterday. Good. It's always nice to see people getting into well, for some people it's a hobby, for some people it's a business. Getting started out, it's more like a hobby. I mean, I'm still in the early phases myself. I've only been doing this for like a month and a half, every day during the week. All right, there we go. Okay, Matthew 11:0. Never heard of such a thing. You want to tell us what that verse is? Type it out. Making bracelets. Nice. To read this person's name in a second here. Deontay Miller? Okay. Deontay, what did you mean to type? Matthew 11 what? And if you could type out the verse for us, that would be great. This what? Just Ali. Who? I don't know. That's the most I'm driving. What is this? Just Ali. Oh, there we go. There's some nice verses. I can see you can work with me. I'm almost to the big road. I'm gonna have to read this down here at the stop sign. We'll have their names. His angel. You mean his angels? Just woke up. Well, if I remember correctly, you guys are an hour behind us, so I get it. And you can do it. There you go. Thank you. Is it spring yet? It says on the school sign here. but the S won't fit. His angels. So what I usually do, the reason why I ask for people to put Bible verses in the comments is that towards the end of the ride, I usually stop, have to use the bathroom, but come back and read some of those verses from the Bible that I haven't. Oh yeah, the buses have to stop at the railroad. So yesterday I started, so on Sundays I do Bible study online, and my Bible studies are usually based on the things that I see other Christians talking about or doing. And yesterday we were talking about praying in tongues, which is different than speaking in tongues. And it's not a salvation issue, of course. Let's see if I can change that, unplug something. I've got an inverter in the truck, and it keeps making noise because I got things plugged in back there. But yeah, praying in tongues was the topic of yesterday's Bible study. Oh boy. I wonder why the bus is going that way. Huh. But towards the end of the ride, I'll let you guys know where you can find the study, find the live. So if everybody wants to stick around and hang out for a bit, younger folks getting ready for school, adults get a coffee into you, hang out for a little bit. I've started posting some shorts on the YouTube channel here, showing what the wood chip project that I'm doing. It's pretty much covering the whole property. Right now it's not, but eventually it will be. My garden is starting to wake up. I've got some autumn joy sedum that are starting to bulb out, to grow. I think the garlic that I planted last fall is starting to leaf out. I'm waiting for my hostas to start sprouting. I've still got some that I gotta move. I just picked up a new hosta the other day. It's a blue hosta. I guess I could just leave that on, sort of. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going to keep me busy for 3 or 4 months here. Is any day as long as it's not like pouring rain, I'll go pick up wood chips. Because tracking dirt everywhere isn't my cup of tea. I'd rather have wood chips that are soaking up all this rain than the dirt that's kind of just letting it drain out down the hill. But yeah, I'm getting really excited seeing some of these plants start to wake up. We've got a lot of beans that we're going to be planting, some lentils. I might be doing lentil sprouts because I know that they're delicious. We'll probably do a little bit of both, to be honest. Doing lentil sprouts and growing lentils to build up the seed stock. We do have some corn seed. My wife and I were looking at what we have for seed yesterday. Corn, we got some watermelon, bell peppers, red columbine, which is a flower. I just got to buy some a bag or two of compost or aged manure or something to start planting things. Trying to wait until the first day of spring to actually start planting stuff in the ground. If we get a frost, I'm just going to keep doing succession plantings of those things so that I know at some point I will have some seed stock at the end of the year. It'd be nice at some point to have a greenhouse. It's just not something I can afford right now. Boy, if the rain picks up anymore, I may not be getting wood chips today. Still gonna try though. Keep an eye on the weather. Anybody else growing a garden this year or plan on growing a garden? I know, Alfredo, you're on the other end of the seasons there. It was being a tender of a garden is, I believe, the first job that humanity had after creation. Adam and Eve were tenders of the garden. They weren't tilling the soil. They weren't, clearing trees to make room for the stuff. It was already there. God already designed that garden, the Garden of Eden. And if we can replicate that in some way, I think that'll show people that we're doing something that God originally designed us for. Tenders of the garden. I have this saying that I like to share on other people's live streams, people that will let me do that. And the saying is, in order to be fishers of men, we have to first be planters of seed. And that can be taken multiple different ways, of course. You have to plant seed. There's a parable in the Bible where Jesus teaches about planting seeds in bad soil or okay soil or good soil. We still plant the seed, and then God allows the growth of that seed. Sometimes the seed we plant will just rot or wither away. Some seed will grow halfway decent, but then sometimes that seed that we put in good soil is going to grow up to be a great big strong plant. I believe the Lord gave me this vision for the faith-based tiny house community before I got saved, to build up my patience. That's been my life lesson for a long time, is patience. It's always His will, His time. And right now it feels like this summer is the time to really start pushing the garden, showing that it's profitable, start bringing people in to help grow more things. Been a struggle, up until 8 years ago, 9 years ago. last time I got out of jail, so it's coming up to 10 years, yeah. Last time I got out of jail, my mom let me live at her place for a while, moved back into Bangor to get a job. I've been slowly building myself, well, God has been slowly building me up to the point where I can actually accept this vision, this mission that he's given me. You know, if anybody's interested, if you look in the book of Acts, chapter 2 and chapter 4, it outlines how the early Christians lived communally. And if you take that example and apply it to today, it would be an efficient way to live for people that don't have their own place to live. You know, eventually I'm going to have some cabins, tiny houses, whatever you want to call them, on the property so that I can prove this concept works. You know, it's going to be people that are willing to work the land, not just people that are going to hang out in their tiny house. Once I've proven this concept works on small acreage, the 1.7 acres that we live on, we may then have access to part of, if not all of the 10 acres that's behind us. And then we can really start pushing to expand, possibly get, and it's all voluntary. This isn't going to be forced labor. It's not going to be a communist commune or whatever. It's voluntary. I think the proper word would be communalism, whereas there's the difference between communism and communalism is that communism is forced, socialism is forced, where communalism is voluntary. You have an option. You can stay in the world, you can have your own place, have your own vehicle, pay all of your expenses on your own, or you have the option of joining a community where the expenses are shared, meals are shared. We'll have, you know, eventually laundry facility, shower facility that can support as many people as we bring in. And I admit that sometimes when I'm talking to people in person, it doesn't come across the same way. Like I was talking to a guy I thought respected my idea, and in a way he did, but he was kind of down talking to me, like I was telling him, reminding him of the farm idea, this intentional community idea, and he tries handing me a business card for some nonprofit that's putting $20 million into sober living houses. He said, you know, if you agree to take an old house, refurbish it, and turn it into a sober house, you can get all this money. And I told him I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to create an alternative to the current state of affairs that society is facing. Everywhere you go, there's homeless people. Everywhere you go, there's hungry people. I want to give them an option outside of running the rat race, for lack of a better term. And then he started down talking to me and saying, well, with that kind of an attitude, I wouldn't work with you either. And I said, okay. I shook his hand and bye. I'm not going to waste my time talking to people that don't want to support this ministry. You know, a lot of people will say, oh, I don't want people in my backyard, like the whole homeless thing. And this would reduce that problem of, oh, I don't want people camping out behind the interstate or just up by the river. This would give them a place to learn some skills, social skills, work skills. You know, I've met a lot of people. You know, my wife and I worked the warming center there 4 winters ago, and the people that did get a place, we'd go visit them and their house is trashed, like, because they don't have that skill set to clean up after themselves. And again, this is all voluntary. I'm not forcing anybody to change their way of life, but if they want a change in the way of life, then this is kind of the solution that I have available. That's why I always put my Cash App in the description. You know, I watch a couple of Christian people that own and operate nurseries, plant nurseries, and that's kind of where I've got my inspiration for a lot of the plants that I'm growing, is that they're easy to grow, easy to maintain, and easy to sell. And I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to build up this community. You know, a lot of the money I make in the first several years, once things start growing, is going to go right back into buying things for the farm, whether it be a greenhouse or a new building or a piece of machinery. Because that's what I see as an example in the Bible. Why it's warm in here. Excuse me. Appreciate it, everybody listening to my rant. I can smell wood smoke in the air. Somebody's got the wood stove going. It's still pretty chilly around here. It's probably just above freezing. All right, we're about at the halfway point. It shows 3, Morgan. Morgan, do you... Oh, for me it shows 1. Yeah, that number is not always accurate. I've had people liking and commenting when it showed 0 people watching. So I don't pay so much attention to the audience number. But I was going to ask, do you or anybody you know grow a garden or grow some vegetables or anything, flowers through the summer? They poured the slab for that house they tore down a week or so ago. Thought about once I have enough seed for some of the flowers that grow on the property, like the red columbines, I'd like to start sending them out to people, because those, I mean, I haven't actually grown them myself except for what's growing wild on the property, but I can't imagine they're too difficult to grow. So I'd like to send some seeds out to people. Just don't know how I'm going to do that. Kind of an overcast day this morning. I guess it's supposed to rain on and off all day. But hopefully it'll get rid of some more of the snow that's left over here and there. A lot of it's melted away. Just a week or two ago, there was 6 to 8 inches of snow on the ground. Yeah, I was saying there at the beginning that beginning of the show. Having a fit this morning. But I've got a plan. By the end of the summer, probably hundreds of plants, as long as they do the cutting. I know one of my sedums has got a growth on it that I might be able to split it this year. Yeah, I live in central Maine, so yeah, we still got snow. But the thing with the snow is that the wood chips that I've been putting down on the property soak all that. The snow melts, the wood chips soak all that up. You know, was it last summer? I think it was last summer. We had a pretty serious drought, so we didn't have a very good garden like I wanted. Plus, I was only able to get half as many wood chips as I can get now every run, so I wasn't making as much progress. You know, I had a bunch of tubs while I was like storage tubs that I was using in the back of the vehicle I was borrowing, which amounted to about 75, 80 gallons of wood chips every day. And now it feels like I'm getting twice that, if not more, with the truck. So the main idea with the whole faith-based tiny house community is based on the verses we find in the book of Acts, chapter 2 and chapter 4, but it ultimately boils down to love. You know, if you love somebody, help them. And this is kind of I think the help that a lot of people, if they're willing, need. There's a place where they can kind of let their mind, soul, and body settle out from the stress of living on the streets. And I think as more and more people join this type of community, the less people we're going to see actively using drugs or all living on the streets because, you know, they're active in the scene, for lack of a better term. Start getting people out of the shelters. They're not going to spend as much time in the shelter. Of course, those shelters aren't going to support the idea because then that puts them out of work. That was one of the first lessons I learned when I came up with this idea, is that these homeless shelters and, you know, groups that try to help the homeless aren't going to support my idea, again, because they're going to be without a job if we get all the people off the streets. So it's worth it to them to leave people on the streets. I hate to say it, but that would be like, my main job is doing oil changes and tires. If a company came out with an oil that you never had to change, or a tire that you never had to change, shops would go out of business. They make more money off the labor than they do off the actual resource. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Such a rush, you should probably leave your house earlier. Making a mess of my windshield. So I don't know if Alfredo's still around or if anybody's still around. I know Alfredo's seasons are the other way, opposite of ours. But if anybody else, like in the northern hemisphere, pretty much, I just want to know, if you're not going to grow a garden, would you be willing to try? Really, I gotta flip my mirror because you want your headlights in my... Oh, turkeys. Alfredo, did you guys grow anything this summer? I know you guys are at the end of your season there. It's probably stuff I've never heard of. I don't know if I mentioned it before, Alfredo, but I've got a friend down there. Him and his wife, I guess they live high up in the mountains or something. I think the last time I heard from him, he said that they were like 6,000 feet above sea level. I don't know what that is in meters or whatever, but that still didn't help. My windshield's a mess. A little bit better. Man, that guy went flying by me, and I don't know if there was a bunch of dirt on his tires or what, but on the mountain. Yep. Yeah, I don't even know if my buddy there, if they have a garden at all. I imagine they have something of a garden. Oh, those folks got chickens. Almost a dozen of them. Oh boy. So, I guess I wasn't paying attention. My low fuel light's on. So I think I'm gonna end the show once I get to the gas station. So I'll do all the self-promotion I normally do after the gas station now. Yesterday we did a Bible study over on the Patreon page. There's also some Bible devotionals and other studies over there. If you'd like to check it out, the link to my Patreon page is in the channel description. There's also in the description of this live is my Cash App if you want to support the show. Yeah, I had a quarter of a tank when I left the house. Goodness. Oh, somebody pulled out of the driveway driving real slow. Cool. Although I think, I don't know how long that light's been on. That's the problem. See a lot of people getting their motorcycles out. I've seen some people out riding already. Boy, on the mountain, huh, Alfredo? Is it hard? I don't know if you grow stuff up there for a garden. I'm sure you must know somebody that does. What do people grow up on the mountain? Vegetables or fruits or... I caught the school bus, didn't I? Yeah. I think I left a little early because normally I don't catch this bus. Soon we're going to be doing spring cleanup around, so people will be putting stuff out the ends of their driveway, looking for tables, chairs, any scrap metal. Yeah, I might wait until I get out of work to put gas in the truck. I didn't think it burned that much gas, so quarter of a tank. Oh, this bus is going all the way into town. Well, I do appreciate everybody coming along. Again, I'm probably going to end short today. I know some people left when I said that earlier, but just getting to the bathroom down here. Alfredo, it's nice seeing you. I know Pastor Lewis's show is a little early for you. I hope you have a blessed day. Hope everybody has a blessed day.